He's already taken, and he's cracked at Fortnite, my guy.
Hello there, Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to another Farming Sim Let's Play episode. I don't know. Um, Today we're watching Helpers because I didn't have any time to do anything else. Yes, as for the last several weeks I've been, I've just been wasting time instead of doing my homework. So, as per usual, I learned what the bang was from the Minecraft Let's Play. If you haven't seen the Minecraft Let's Play, make sure you go check it out. New episodes every Monday at 11 a.m. Central Time. Also, I think I needed your help. I asked for some comments on the previous one. Make sure you go check that out at the end of the episode or something. At the end of some video at some point I've uploaded, I asked for some assistance. Or I was something. I don't remember what it was. But, yes. So, back to Farming Sim. Though, yeah, back to the real world, though. So I've been very busy, and so getting Farming Sim stuff done, it's just been impossible. I literally worked all weekend. I wasn't at work. I was doing other things, and I wasn't able to do homework, so I wasn't able to play Farming Sim. And as I said, this is Sunday afternoon, so happy Easter, so it'd be post-Easter for you. But, so I have to do stuff Sunday night instead of Tuesday night like I normally do, or Monday night in this case, because also I now get off at 10 instead of 9, and you'd be thinking, oh, Doc, you're being a big babe about this hour you're losing. Bro, it's an hour. I can get a lot of stuff done in an hour. Like, a lot of stuff. Now I don't have that hour. And also, I'm probably going to be pulling an all-nighter Tuesday. So, wish me luck on that one. I may have to find some sort of energy, i.e., I will be drinking coffee for the first time in my life, caffeinated coffee, because I will be dead Wednesday. Luckily, Wednesday I don't have anything too important to do, so I will be just jittered up on caffeine. If that's the worst case scenario. The case scenario before that would be I just use my classmates' charts, and then I write my own summaries, which would be the best way to do it, and I probably should do that. And then the least worst scenario is I get everything finished at like 2 a.m. when Tuesday night, and nobody's the wiser. I doubt that'll happen, but we will see. We will see. Or I might finish at 2 a.m. with everybody else's charts as well. So, anyways, how are you guys? How are you guys doing? I'm good. I'm good. How was everybody's Easters? You know, I spent it at work, but I got paid like extra money, so I'm not gonna complain. I talked about that in the Minecraft Let's Play. So let's talk about something else. Let's talk about anything else. Oh, okay. So something crazy. All right. So April 1st, April Fool's Day. For the first time, graduation kind of felt real. Like, it finally set in. Like, I'm graduating college. And so this has brought back, like, some crazy thoughts. Like, I'm realizing, they said high school. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. I gave a speech in high school. I think I've talked about this before. I gave a speech in high school as a retiring address for my FFA officer position. And the very first thing I said was like, hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm blah, blah, blah. Whew. They said high school would fly by. They were wrong. I don't know who said that, but they were wrong. It dragged out. And then I give some statistics actually about how long 4 years is, or about how much time I spent in FFA and that kind of stuff. I gave it in like seconds or minutes or whatever. I don't remember what it was, but the point is, or maybe it was days. I don't remember. But I might have led with that. I can probably find the retiring address somewhere and see what it says. But that's besides the point. The point is, people said high school would fly by. They were wrong. Those were the 4 longest, most grueling years of my life that I can remember. Truth be told, I'm pretty sure 4 years in elementary school were long, grueling years. Very long. I mean, but again, Vsauce has a video about this, where every year of your life seems shorter than the previous years because, well, they take up a smaller portion of your life. So the first year of your life is the longest year of your life. Feels that way anyways. Of course, you're babies, so you won't realize that. But, like, when you're 4 years old, I mean, to be fair, long-term memories, in my opinion, really didn't start to form until probably 6 or 7. I was probably 6 or 7 years old when I first had long-term memories start to form. So it's hard to say. Like, it wasn't just like I've existed for this amount of time. But, like, that's the thing. You know, you're not really thinking like that as a kid. You know, you've only existed 4 years like that. You can't think that complex. The most complicated thinking I ever did, I think, was splitting my life up into fractions. And that was in 6th grade, if I'm not mistaken. And that was about as complicated as it got, about as complicated thinking as I could get. And that was more complicated than most kids were thinking. Most kids weren't anywhere near that. Of course, most kids didn't think like that, so. What are you gonna do, right? Anyways. So, they said high school flew by. High school dragged out, alright? College, it's only been 3 years, and hopefully it will remain 3 years. Knocking on wood. Hopefully it remain 3 years. And these have been some of the quickest years. They're just quick. It's been it feels quick. When I really think about it, freshman year does feel like a long time ago. But in reality, it wasn't. And I'll get more into that. And the years, thinking about it, kind of flew by up until this semester. 2021. Most people are like, oh, I can't believe it's already April. I can't. I think I've been counting like every single freaking day since 2021 started. Because I knew I've got 5 months and 1 week, 4 months and 1 week of my college career left. And so I'm like, I can believe it's been it's been a month, or I can't believe it. I can believe it's April. Oh my god, I just can't believe it's not May already. Jesus, this semester has been just grueling. And also I talked to a part-timer at work. He agrees with me. This has been a long, grueling semester. Everybody's just got hard classes, it seems. And that could be because all my friends are, they're in higher level classes these days, and so things seem to take longer. I mean, they're harder, so things do feel like they're longer or whatever. But it's just it's been rough. Although I just once this assignment that I've been talking about for like 4 weeks, it seems like at this point, once it's done, this semester will be a lot less stressful. I mean, I'll have this big project, but I wrote a 9-page paper with charts in 48 hours, and this one will be 9 pages of just pure writing. But truth be told, I think I can do that. No, actually, no, sorry. He said 12 pages max. So I don't need to make it anywhere near that length. So I can write it however long I want. So I think 4 or 5 pages. Well, actually, probably more. I'll probably get 6 or 7 pages pretty easily. That's just because the original paper I wrote as I'm writing a paper on space debris. I love writing papers about space debris. The original paper I wrote was 2 pages, single spaced. So once I double space it, yeah, I can get. I won't double space the same essay, but I'll be reusing some of the. I'll be reusing some of the same concepts. I'll be googling everything again, of course, but I'll be reusing some of the same concepts. And because they're both for policy classes, and both are talking about what if you were to implement a policy of this sort or something. And I've learned a lot since then, so I can talk about a bunch of other stuff. And so I feel like I can easily get 6 to 7 pages. We'll see. I might end up struggling, but double spacing a single space gets you like 3.5 pages. So I can probably get 6 pages pretty easily. Just tacking on 2 more pages, which is 1 more page of single spaced writing, which I feel like about space debris won't be that difficult, especially since he's got his own specific stuff he wants. And I think what something really cool was I was like he didn't want an econometrics analyzation, which is like you take a bunch of numbers, a bunch of data, and you analyze and you talk about what does the data mean. And he's like, we don't have to do that because, well, that's not a requirement for the class, and that's not a requirement for the capstone, which is our capstone project. This is like a big deal, actually. This is like, so some people write an actual thesis for their undergraduate degree. This is my thesis, and I've written a thesis before, because it technically would have counted as a capstone, but it wouldn't have counted as mine because I didn't. My option isn't trade, and so it didn't count. However, if I'd been into trade, then it would have, then it probably would have counted as a capstone, but it didn't. If that makes sense. Capstone is so there's 10 credits. So there's 10 classes, 10 or 11, give or take. And I'll explain that in a minute. That when you're at the university I go to, you need to take these classes. These are like your English, math, reading, science, that kind of stuff. And you have to take these classes. The last class is your capstone. It's your ACE 10. And you take this your last semester. Typically your last semester last year, or the last semester of your junior year. And for some people, it teaches them how to write a thesis, and then they write a thesis. Some people, like teachers, it varies from major to major, and then also varies from option to option. So for me specifically, mine isn't necessarily a thesis. It's a policy analyzation thing, which is just a research paper, basically. It's like, does this policy or should this policy exist? Yes or no? And how does it work? How is it implemented? And you're like, Jesus, Doc, you're gonna get like 6 pages out of that? Yeah. Welcome to college, where everything you do is fluff. But when talking about space debris, I can fill up a half a page or a page just talking about the physics of space debris, alright? Which is very important, may I add. That's a very important key, and one, if you were, which since this is economics, as an economic analysis, an econometric analysis of something, you need to know, is it cost effective to put shielding, so really thick plates, on space habitats and modules, or should we clean the crap up? Answer, cleaning is a lot easier than just making the walls of everything exponentially thick, or like dumping billions of dollars of research into like energy shields, which we will need for high-speed human space travel in the future anyways. But for right now, that's just unnecessary. So obviously it's valuable information. And I had a professor, she was just like, she was like, you spent too much time on the physics. And I don't feel like I spent enough. The physics are important, and I think she understood how important this was. And this professor, he's really excited for my paper. He's like, I think it's a very important thing, and it's definitely overlooked. And I think he's like, you have some real potential to write a good paper here. So, and I was just like, I'm like, I just need to double check. I'm like, you don't want econometrics because I won't be able to get any, like, there's numbers on cleanup are very, and that's gonna be about all it is. And he's like, that's fine. If you can't get a number, that's great. But if you can get a rough estimate, give a range, and say what number's the most reasonable, he's like, that's perfect. And I'm like, awesome. That's awesome. So he's really forgiving about it. He's like, if you just get a range and you can explain why the range is the way it is, that's perfect. I'm like, awesome. And he's just an old man. He's a good professor. He's a good professor. And he's a pretty good teacher, actually. I enjoy him. You just can't get him off topic. Otherwise, you won't learn anything. I really enjoy his class, and I enjoy listening to him. And so I think it's just he has some really cool stuff. I don't know where I was going. Oh, right. Yeah, he put a limit on it because he doesn't want to read 12 pages. Because he's got, like, there's like 7 people in the class. He's like, it takes an hour to read each one. You know, read it, grade it, hour, 2 hours. He's like, I don't want to spend 7 hours grading papers, you know. So, I can't blame him. I don't know who are the people that do master's thesis. Because those are books. And doctorates are also books. Yeah, sure, you have, like, only a few students. But do you realize how long it takes me to read a book? It takes me a long time. Research, scientific documentation is very long because it needs to be. It needs to be thorough. That's the whole point of the peer review process. And the people that read those papers, crazy. I read the abstract, and that's about it. The abstract. I feel bad for all these, like, and then maybe try and go find some of their data if I need it. If I need one of their charts to reference something. If their charts make sense. A lot of times their charts don't make sense unless you've read the last 8 pages of of footnotes. Yeah. No, but the class is great, and that's the one I had the really long assignment. But yeah, does a pretty great job. So, where was I going? Right, so, did I just keep talking about space debris? How did I get onto that in the first place? I don't remember. Oh, right. Oh, the ACE credits, right. So, okay, so the other 9 ACE credits, each class is about 3 credits that you have to take in there. And I said give or take a few because, for me, I had 5 math credits. Well, I needed 6 credits to account for Calculus 2. So I think those 2 credits got lost in translation somewhere, or they're just free elective credits. And then I had to take Stats 218, because that's just something I need for my major. And so that was 3 credits. And so my math course was 6 credits. My science course, actually, whoa, no, 6, 12 is an understatement. Some people need to take like 3 science courses or more. I had to take 2 science courses. And then those science courses also then required a lab or a recitation. Or both. Some people, it depends. This varies wildly. So I needed 8 science credits. 3 of those I took in high school. That was I took horticulture. And then I took the lab in college. Best lab. The only lab I've ever had. And it was the best lab in the entire university. Besides, I guess if there's a food science lab, could be pretty good. If you get to eat food. But horticulture, the lab is the best lab. The teacher is super easy grader. I wrote 1 super easy essay on GMOs. It was super easy grader. We had all the tests and the quizzes were like basically open book. He wasn't gonna make the test open book, but then he couldn't be there for the last test, and so he basically was like, yeah, open book, open note. So me and this guy took the test together. Oh my god, great class. And I got to take a bunch of plants home. Oh, great class. And we didn't do anything. Wonderful class. If you're ever at the University of Nebraska and you are allowed to take horticulture, I don't know what the normal class is like, but the lab, if the class isn't that bad, I would take the class just so you can take the lab. Because the lab is awesome, especially if you like plants. So, And then there was Mech Systems, which is physics for dummies, but it's also, in some regards, it's more complicated than the regular physics, but at the same time, it's harder. Because, like, regular physics, I don't know. I haven't taken it. Rooster's the one who has the experience in regular physics. I'd have to ask him what he thought. But he's basically, he didn't have to take mech systems. I took mech systems instead of physics because I was like, mech systems I was told is easier. And we had to just take a recitation instead of the lab because I took it in the spring, not the fall. And then the fall, it's recitation and lab. So you get 5 credits, which I guess in hindsight would have chopped off a credit for my last semester, but for this last semester I've taken 16, I would have taken 15. But my one little 1 credit class was basically nothing. Plus I need to take anyways. That's actually a good thing I didn't take 5 credits because that would have screwed a lot of stuff up. Because because for my minor I'm pretty sure I was 1 credit short. And so I would have had to take an extra class that wouldn't have counted for that. I would have taken more credits than I needed to pass the university. And it's like, well, why just not take the lab? You have to. It's not an option. Once if you pick that mech systems, you have to take the recitation and the lab. Anyways, the recitation was kind of fun. There was a TA that taught it. I had a bit of a crush on her. Yes, I had a crush on my TA. And so, in my crush-riddled brain, my hormone-riddled brain, I decided, let's try and impress her. Stupid me. And try and get my assignment done before everybody else. Truth be told, I could do it. I did, multiple times, get it done. And here's the crazy part. It was me versus these 2 girls who were working together. Alright? 2 of them. They could theoretically do... So, theoretically, since there's 2 of them, one could do one half, one could do the other half of the worksheet, and they could get it done in half the time of everybody else. Half the time. A little more than half, because if the copy returns answers and maybe explain it. But almost half the time of anybody else in the class. And I was beating them some days. Granted, I had taken physics in high school, and this is only my 2nd semester of college, so it was still relatively fresh. It wasn't fresh anymore, but I still had a good firm understanding. Plus, we've done plenty of physics videos here on Dr. Sheep, so no big deal. Now, granted, the assignments were still very difficult. I'm not going to acknowledge the hours I spent working on the assignments and having to call my cousin, having to call Outback, Phil, having to call Phil for help. So, I'm going to acknowledge that. But the majority of the class is pretty easy. And the reason why I'd say it's a toss-up, because the last unit, which you don't have to do the test for, if you are comfortable with all your tests, because he drops your lowest test score, so you can just not do the final, and that is your grade. And this is your grade. I didn't do the final. I didn't want to. It was very difficult. It was thermodynamics, but it was like you went further into it. We had this chart, right? Oh my god. I wonder if I can find the chart. Yeah, I don't know if I can find it, but I'll see what I can do. But it had humidity, dew point, air pressure, temperature, all this stuff, and there were like lines in every which way direction. If I can find it, I'll pop it up on the screen. But and you had to use it for problems. Oh my god. And then you have to use the gas laws. I hate the gas laws. Oh my god. It was awful. And I don't know how I ever did the assignments for that unit, but it was horrendous. And actually, my friend, she's currently in mech systems, and he's made the class even easier. The class is already super easy. He's made it even easier. Again, I say super easy. knowing that the assignments were very difficult, but the tests were super easy, and most of the assignments were pretty easy to understand if you just read your. So it's a matter of figuring out what are they asking you to do and how do you do that, and that's physics has always kind of been that way. It's always been difficult. Anyways, and she gets 3 tries on her test. 3 tries. I'm like, what? That's so. Yeah, 3. I'm pretty sure. I'm like, what? That's ridiculous. If I had 3 tries in my test, I probably could have 100%. Which is, it was overpowered, right? I was like, that's overpowered as hell. So I was like, no, thank you. So I had to help. So yeah, I helped her with one assignment one day. It was torque. Rooster hates torque. I find torque relatively easy, so I was able to help her. They were it was the centripetal acceleration. I love centripetal acceleration. If anybody's been a fan of the channel for a long time, and I've been a really long time, you know how much I like centripetal acceleration. I've done multiple videos on it. I love it. Do I have a recent video of it? Like recent as in like I have the whiteboard and the black background. I don't think so. Might have to do a revisit. Obviously, yeah. I don't want to talk about the transition again, like I've been doing this in the past few episodes, but I might end up getting onto it. Anyways, yeah, so back to the whole ACE credit thing. So sometimes you have to take quite a few science classes, or you have to take quite a few math classes for your major, and so you take those, and once you finish your ACEs, yeah. And so each one's like, I completed a lot of ACE credits in high school. And if anybody's ever taken AP, get dual credit, my guys. So that's actually something about, so like, arguably, I'd argue that Phil and Kyle got a better education than I did from high school. But who ended up benefiting from high school more, it ended up being me, because they, I think Kyle ended up getting 6 credits from high school. Kyle ended up getting, I think, maybe 6. I had a large I don't know what Kyle ended up getting, but I had like almost 16, which is one semester here at my university. Almost 16 credits. I had almost half my ACEs done. And I kind of wanted to get all my ACEs done. I wanted to get half my ACEs done before I got to college. But the class I wanted to get into was full, and it was a summer class. It was full, and so I was just like, screw it. And so I took history of rock and roll instead. And that sucked. I enjoyed the class. Here's the weirdest thing. I haven't talked about the history of rock and roll, the class, in a long time. I think I used to talk about it all the time on the old podcast. Let me know. Go watch the old podcast and let me know. The Dr. Sheep podcast, not DJIF Talks, the Dr. Sheep podcast. No, actually, history of rock and roll was before this. Wow, it was my first semester of college, so it would have been before the revamp. I don't know if I ever talked about it. Go watch the old podcast. Maybe it's in there. I don't remember. I can't remember. I was such a long time ago. I don't remember. That's crazy. Yeah, but history of rock and roll was probably my first challenge of a class. I ended up getting a decent grade out of it anyways. But it was my first challenge of a class because I wasn't used to not having assignments. It was just these tests or quizzes that all I would do I would do the practice quiz like 80 billion times until I got like hundreds consistently or close to hundreds consistently, and then I go take the test, and that'd get me about an 80%. Good enough. Yeah, so I guess technically I did study a lot freshman year, if that counts as studying. I don't know. I'd spend like 2 hours doing that before the test. Oh, it was not fun. It was horrendous. Wow. That is a memory I shoved deep in my brain. But yeah, I was gonna take intro to theater, but instead I took history of rock and roll. That's one example of an ACE credit. Geography 272. My first college class. My first college class ever, like in-person college class, not like taking it dual credit. Take dual credit, by the way. That's what I was trying to get at. I got to take a bunch of dual credits, so I got to take a bunch of classes, a bunch of credits with me. Phil, he took AP, which has the chance of taking credits with you, but not guaranteed. You have to pass this stupid test, and so you take all this extra work in this class. You stress yourself out over this test. You fail the test, or you don't get a good enough grade, and you don't get to take credits with you. And then it was just pointless. You stress yourself out. You got high school credit, but you stress yourself out. Made your life horrible taking this AP course or diff courses, and just to get nothing. Me, I took dual credit, which isn't necessarily harder or more difficult than the regular course. In the case of my sociology, it was the same. He literally didn't change the class at all, except for we had to log into that university system that we got the dual credit for one time, and that was the end of it. Obviously, college English was, other than the research paper, which at the time I was like, oh no, I don't want to write a research paper. And so we got out of the research paper. I had wished we'd written the research paper. The research paper, in hindsight, was much easier than I ever thought. I wish we had done the research paper instead of some of the other stuff we'd done. College English was very difficult. The calculus, well, you wouldn't have had to take the final, I don't think. I don't think the final you would have had to take if you didn't, if you took it for non-college credit. But there was no need to take it for non-college credit, because if you had taken, because by the time you get to take calculus, you've already taken all your math credits for our high school anyways. And so taking calculus was kind of pointless. And we did have a girl who'd been with us this entire time. She'd taken pre-calc and advanced algebra and geometry and pre-algebra and algebra. We've been taking this all together, and she joined us for about 2 weeks of calculus. Realized she doesn't need to take this class. It was pointless. She went and took some other class, and that was it. She's like, I don't need to take this. I'm going to be a nursing major, I think is what she's doing. And so she's like, I don't need this. So she quit. I don't blame her. I took it because I was like, I'm going to take calculus in college. And also, I need a lot of calculus, surprisingly. Haha. Hey, economics is a lot of calculus. I always told people economics is basic math. No. It's calculus. And geometry. Not like, yeah, I guess. I was about to say, oh, it's basic geometry, just lines. And I'm like, no, it's not. There are shapes. There are shapes. Gosh darn, I keep hitting the wrong buttons. But yeah, I mean that's it. That's the end of today's episode right there. I'm finished what I was doing. I don't know what I'm gonna title this. Just I mean, I already used farm in chat. Maybe I'll be, I don't know. But yeah, oh, maybe it'll be like, don't take AP classes. There's no point. They're a waste of money. Anyways, in the meantime, I would like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. New Farming Sim Let's Plays every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Central Time, and good night. What an episode, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed what you watched and you want to see what the series started, go check out the playlist. If you want to see more, and so you don't miss a single second, make sure you subscribe. Anyways, stick around for the next 20 seconds to give me that sweet watch time, and I'll see you guys in the next one.